What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we've got another Micromaster faction that we need to be having a little bit of a look at. We need to be having a look at the Sports Car Patrol, because we've got two new characters from the Sports Car Patrol that we haven't looked at yet. And of course, we've now got all four of them, although there's nothing to stop more of them being released in the future. So I think it's time that we had a little bit of a gander and a little bit of a chat about some sports cars, some Decepticons, an entire Micromaster faction. So we do need a little bit of a leader. We have a little bit of a leader. It is Raider Blackjack, and it was revealed by the lovely Landon Dastra over at TCG Rollout. And long-time viewers of the channel will know he is one of our very favourites, one of our best YouTube friends on here. Lovely dude. If you're not checking out TCG Rollout, please do. He's also doing an awesome live stream once a week where he goes through all of the revealed cards for the week. Go join in the live stream. I can almost guarantee you will have fun. So Raider Blackjack fits the profile of the leaders of these Micromaster factions we've seen so far. It is a 5 cost. All of the Micromasters are 4 or 5 costs. And it's got slightly better stats than the rest of the characters in the faction. Here we've got an attack of 3, which is quite high for a 5 cost. Defense of 1 or 0, which is bad. And health of 8, which is honestly pretty bad. In alt mode, you've got stealth while untapped. We'll get to the other bit in a minute. But in bot mode, we've got the same skill we've seen on all the other Micromaster leaders here. You have +1 attack and +1 defense for each sports car patrol in your KO area. And of course, there are 4 of them in total, which means that you can have 3 others in your scrap pile, which means you essentially end up with an attack of 6, which is very good for a 5 cost, and a defense of 4, which is very good for a 5 cost. So that's quite nice. Now, of course, we know that it's got stealth in alt mode. Now, I've made this point with the other factions, so I'll be nice and quick. You've got 18 stars in total, because you've got 2 5 costs and 2 4 costs, which means that you have 7 stars with which to play. Now, you've also got 4 characters who have stealth while untapped, so either you add in a 5th character who has stealth, and then none of them have stealth. If everyone has stealth, none of them do. Or you add in a 5th character that doesn't have stealth, but while all of your characters are untapped, your opponent has no choice. They have to go after the only one without stealth. And really what you want to be doing with a character like Blackjack, leaving it in alt mode, having it have stealth, it wants to be the last sports car patrol standing, and then you want to be taking advantage of the improved stats, attack of 6, defense of 4, etc. Yes, we like it. Go team. But of course, there's something else going on in alt mode here. When one of your sports car patrols becomes untapped, repair 1 damage from it. Now, it's a car, which means you've got really nice untapping options. We'll get to them in a moment. And given that you're playing a 4-wide car deck, you really do want to be taking advantage of the untapping options. And on the one hand, repairing 1 is nice. And on the other hand, well, they all have terrible defense and they've all got low health. So frankly, there's going to be a lot of one-hit KOs going on here. There's going to be a number of times where your opponent just gets a one-hit KO on one of your cars, and not much is going to happen here. Repairing 1 alone is fine. I mean, Repair Bay repairs 1 from all of your characters. But repairing 1 is fine, yeah, let's not be ungrateful. But to be clear, if all of your characters are getting one-hit KO'd, it doesn't really matter. Okay. So look, we like Blackjack. We like that it's got the boosted stats. We like that it can do some repairing. We like that it's got higher natural stats than the others. It's alright. Now, the other new one we've got here is Raider Hyperdrive. And Raider Hyperdrive is a 4-cost car, and the stats are not great. Now, free attack on a 4-cost we do like. Health of 6 we don't like. Defense of 1 or 0 we don't like. It's got stealth while untapped in alt mode. We're not too worried. Well, what I mean is we've said what we need to say about that. But in bot mode, it's got a tap skill, whereby you scrap a blue icon card from your hand, you draw 3 cards, and then scrap 2 cards from your hand. This doesn't give you a huge card advantage. You end up with 1 more card than you had previously. But what it does do so beautifully is it recycles your cards. Now, I love that you're scrapping after you draw. As far as I'm concerned, that's really quite important, because it means that you are far more likely to actually get what you want here. You're far more likely to end up with a card you want, and you've got a greater choice of cards to scrap. Now, all of these tap skills are based on existing cards. If anybody hasn't figured it out, it is Inspiring Leadership, a blue icon card that lets you draw 3, then scrap 2 from your hand. And this is fine. I like it. It's a nice little draw. You do need to... Where am I going with this? You do need to be a little bit careful of when you attack and when you use the tap skills, because if you use too many tap skills, you're not actually attacking enough, and if you're not attacking enough, you're not doing enough damage, blah, 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 etc. But the good news is here that you're a car, and you're going to be playing this in a 4-wide cars deck. So all of a sudden, we've got those really nice skills, well, cards at least. We've got turbo boosters and start your engines. Now, start your engines flips all of your characters from bot mode into car mode. Now, there are plenty of cars out there that get extra bonuses when they do so, like Autobot Mirage from Wave 1, that allows you to play an extra action when you flip it into alt mode, or Bumblebee Trusted Lieutenant from Wave 2 that lets you play an extra action card when you flip it into alt mode. You don't get any of that here. You just flip them all into alt mode, they all have stealth, fine. And then you've got, obviously, the leader dude, who does also let you do a little bit of healing, Blackjack. But then you untap one of your cars. So this just lets you untap one of your characters. So you're already playing a 5-wide deck. And incidentally, right, there are plenty of 6 or 7 cost cars you can use very, very nicely here. That's awesome. I'm a fan of Prowl personally. I know not everybody agrees with me. I like Prowl. That would be my go-to. That would be the first one I'd go for. Incidentally, I know an awful lot of people are a fan of Cliff Jumper, and I cannot be mad at them about that. But the problem with Cliff Jumper is it comes in as an 8-star character, which means Cliff Jumper will not fit in this deck. You've only got 7 stars left over. Whereas if you go with my boy Prowl, well, he's a 6-star character, and you've got 1 left over. In alt mode, when you flip to it, one of your cars gets bowled too. In bot mode, when one of your cars is KO'd, you repair 1 damage from one of your other characters. And of course, this does combo quite nicely with a healing from Blackjack, if of course your characters survive long enough to actually get the healing done. It's a nice idea. But the point is, you get the untapping, and that's lovely. We've also got turbo boosters here. A utility with an orange icon gives you +1 attack, and when you put it on a car, you untap that character. So now all of a sudden, you're sitting there rocking along with a 5-wide cars deck, but then you've got start your engines and you've got turbo boosters. So yes, you are a 5-wide cars deck, that is true, but you're also going to be doing a whole bunch of untapping. So actually, it's a bit more than that. And there is a new battle card that we're going to be getting in this new set in Wave 4 in War for Cybertron Siege 2. New Orders. Now, it's only got a black icon, but it's an action card that untaps one of your characters with 6 stars or fewer. Incidentally, this is another factor in thinking of something like Prowl, because, oh yeah, Prowl has 6 stars or fewer. Now, to be fair, there is also the starter set Bumblebee, the Brave Warrior, which also is a 6-star car, It's pretty good, if I'm honest with you. And it gives a little bit of pierce as well, which goes with a black icon. That would also work with this. It's very nice. Point is, we've got plenty of untapping options. Now, if you really want to go over the top, you could go ready for action here. Personally, unless you really want to play a 7-star character, I much prefer going New Orders and ready for action because you get the black icon and the pierce. Simple as that. But ready for action is at least an option. So all of a sudden here, we've got the makings of a really nice deck. 5 cards in one deck with all the untapping options is rather nice. And then, of course, we've got our leader in Blackjack, who lets you heal up quite nicely. So if you're not KO'd straight away, we've got a lot of untapping options, which means we have a lot of healing options, which is kind of nice. Now, we do have 2 other Sports Car Patrol we've previously looked at. Raider Roadhugger. We're not going to spend any time talking about the ult modes. They've got Staff while untapped. Brilliant. Raider Roadhugger, you scrap a blue icon card from your hand. One of your characters gets +3 attack until end of turn. I love this, incidentally, because it boosts one of your Sports Car Patrol up to 6 attack. And it means that you've got fairly high natural attack now, so you can afford to play a bluer deck. And you will notice that the Sports Car Patrol do seem to be pushing you towards a bluer deck. Although annoyingly, Start Your Engines is blue, but Turbo Boosters is not blue, and New Orders is not blue, and that makes me sad. +3 attack is nice. And then we've got Raider Detour, whereby you tap it and scrap a blue icon card from your hand, and you draw 2 cards. Now, incidentally, between Detour and Hyperdrive, that is some really nice draw power. And of course, you really need to be getting stuff like Start Your Engines into your hand. And frankly, it's going to be much easier to draw into those cards that you really want when you're potentially drawing an extra 5 cards. Now, you can only use 1 tap skill per turn, but that's an extra 5 cards in 2 turns. I'm alright with that. And that's before you start building in blue icon cards like Pep Talk, for instance, which give you extra drawing options. Frankly, I'm a fan. I kind of like the Sports Car Patrol. Now, in terms of the skills as a whole, you've basically got drawing and repairing, and that's it. That's what they do. Well, and you boost your attack. But the thing is, you're going to be constantly untapping. Constantly untapping. And that means that you're turning kind of a 5-wide deck into potentially like a 6-7-wide deck. But then again, you are losing some attacks by using the tap skill, so we'll even out a little bit. But the fact of the matter is, there's a lot to play around with here, and I like it very much. Now, what is also kind of cool here, and this video is starting to run a little bit long, so I'll be quick. Blackjack and Roadhugger are melee characters, Hyperdrive and Detour are specialist characters. So with specialists, you can be playing around with these specialist actions like Field Communicator that let you play extra cards. And with the melee characters, you can be playing around with your Power Sword and Body Armor, which gives you extra bold or extra tough. Although incidentally here, I think you're well, it's awkward, right? Because Power Sword gives you extra bold, which you're probably not going to be going for with all your blue icons, but it gives you a blue icon. Whereas Body Armor, you are going to want, because you're going to be playing around with blue icons, so you're going to want tough, but it's got an orange icon. It's almost like they designed it that way. Right, there we go. That's the Sports Car Patrol. This video is running longer than usual, though we have had to talk about 2 new characters and a new battle card. Maybe it was inevitable. Either way, I'd like to know how you think about the Sports Car Patrol. How are you thinking of playing it? How excited are you? Is it your favourite Micromaster team, or is there another one you like instead? Let me know in the comment section. Do be nice, would ya? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on Twitter at the Wossy, where we talk Transformers and all kinds of other games. And do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, etc. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.